Hi everybody, welcome back to musicmoose.org. Now in this segment I thought I'd touch a little bit on octaves. If you remember in the last segment we talked about tunings and there being 2 D strings and 2 G strings and the D strings and G strings being an octave apart. So I thought I'd just touch on just a little bit of music theory in this section. Now before we get started with that, I want to talk about fingerboard markings. Now I'm going to turn the banjo just a little bit so you can see the side of the neck. Now on the side of the neck you can see these dots. Now these dots occur at different frets on the fingerboard to give you a visual reference point of where you're at any given time on the fingerboard. So if you can see here, this dot occurs just behind the 3rd fret, and then moving up there's going to be a dot in the fingerboard as well, but not on the side of the banjo because we have the best visual point that we can get. We got the 5th string tuner. So again, there's going to be one right behind the 5th fret in the middle of the fingerboard, and then at the 7th fret, just behind the 7th fret, just behind the 10th fret. And now you'll notice as we get to the 12th fret, which is a very important fret when I'm going to be talking about octaves, and you can see that there's actually 2 dots behind that 12th fret, and that's to tell you that that's an important fret, that 12th fret. And then as we move on up, there's a dot behind the 15th fret, behind the 17th fret, behind the 19th fret, and also behind the 22nd fret. Now I'm going to turn back around and show you that these dots occur actually within the inlay. Now on this banjo it might be a little bit hard to see, but if you look just behind the 3rd fret in the middle of the fingerboard, in the middle of that inlay, you can see that round pearl dot. And again, it occurs just behind the 5th fret, the 7th fret, the 10th fret, and the 12th fret, that very important 12th fret, behind the 15th fret, 17th, 19th, and 22nd fret. So again, there to give you, when you're first starting out fingering on the banjo, to give you a visual point from which to work from to actually look down on the side of the neck and to know where you're at on the fingerboard. Now getting back to octaves and a little bit of music theory, don't let music theory intimidate you, because really it's really quite simple, and the basics of music theory comes from knowing the alphabet from A through G, knowing how to count between 1 and 12. Pretty simple, huh? A through G and 1 through 12. So now I want to get back to the frets a little bit. I want to call the distance between each fret a half step. So the distance from the nut to the 1st fret is a half step. The distance from the 1st fret to the 2nd fret is a half step, and so on right up to the 22nd fret. Now, why is that 12th fret so important? There are only 12 notes in music. That's all there is, are 12 notes. Whether you're listening to the radio or your favorite CD or whatever you're listening to, any type of music comes from 12 notes. So how cool is that to be able to play 12 notes in different combinations to get all the wonderful music that is available which is 12 notes, and that's a pretty cool thing. So getting back to the octaves, I want to define an octave as saying this. If I start on this fourth string, a D note, if I define an octave as being 12 half steps away from that D note, we're going to get what they call an octave, which is the same note, just higher in pitch. So let's try that. We're going to hit the D string, the D note, fourth string, count up 12 frets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now listen to the fourth string hit open and then the fourth string hit at the 12th fret. It's the same note, it's just that the note fretted at the 12th fret is one octave higher than the original note D that we hit open. And that occurs as well with the G note, G string, hit it open, count up 12 frets, right up to the 12, fretted at the 12th. What do we got? We got another G note. Again, it occurs with the B string or the second string, hit it open, count up your 12 frets. That was a quick count, wasn't it? Up to the 12th fret on the second string, we got another B note. And again occurs at the first string, another D string, fretted at the 12th fret, we got another D note. Now that's an important piece of information as we look and start to figure out the fingerboard on the banjo. Now why is that important? Because if I barred my index finger just behind the 12th fret and strum those four strings, just the four strings for right now, you know what I get? I get another G chord. So that's the first chord you're going to learn. Fretted chord is another G chord. Because remember, when I strum those strings open, it's a G chord because the banjo is tuned to G. It's a G chord. Fretted the 12th fret, another G chord. And that is so important because, again, we only have 12 notes. So we counted up our 12 frets and we got another D note. So now you know what happens if we keep going up towards the 22nd fret? All those notes get duplicated again. It just starts over, them 12 notes. So that is a really important piece of information as we're going to go on to explore the fingerboard and again start forming chords and scales and on from there. Now here's a little quiz for you. Let's go up to the 5th string. G string, G note. Now if I fret the 5th string at the 12th fret and I hit that note, you think I'm going to get the octave from the G? Let's hit it, find out. We're not going to get it. You know why? Because as we look at the banjo neck, 5th string starts at the 5th fret. It doesn't start all the way down at the nut, you see. So where are we going to get the octave on the 5th string? What fret? Well, we're going to add 5 plus 12, starting at the 5th fret, which is where it starts. We're going to count up 12. 12 plus 5 is 17. We look up here. Geez, there's the 17th fret. I can see the dot right there behind the 17th fret. So I'm going to pick that string just behind the 17th fret and I get another G note. Listen to that. There's a G. 5th string hit open. And now fretted at the 17th fret, which is 12 12 half steps away from that 5th fret, we get the same G note. It's that same sound, it's just that that's higher in pitch. So that's a little bit about the octaves. And I'm going to be explaining more about octaves and a little bit of theory. Again, don't let theory intimidate you, because it's really very easy, and I'm going to try to keep it all just as simple as I can. So thanks for joining me, everybody, and I'll see you next time right here on The Moose.